Howdy, partners. We're here to discuss Fliptown. This is a brand new Kickstarter. Yeah, one of us looks the part.
You're right.
This is Western Wednesday, so we got a Western. It's been a while since we've had a Western.
It's been quite a while. You're right.
So this is a new release that just came in. Actually, this past weekend, my sister ordered it in bulk with a bunch of other people, and she brought my copy over.
Sweet.
Before we get started, make sure you mosey on down there and hit the like and the subscribe button so you can follow along with all of our old Wild West adventures or any of our not so wild Eastern adventures.
Yeehaw, Cowpoke.
Rob, what can you... I reckon you can talk about this game, can't you?
I reckon I can.
All right.
Fliptown is a 2023 release, as Randy mentioned. Overall rank is 5,058. It's got an individual score of 7.8, so pretty good for just a brand new game. Plays 1 to 4 people in about 30 minutes, ages 14 and up. Designed by Stephen Aramini. I apologize if I messed that up. Art by Naomi Farrell. Published by Right Stuff Games. Now, Geek Market does have a copy for $25, which is the same price that was on the Kickstarter. The only other way to get it is on their website, which is rightstuffgames.com. They have the base game for $25. They have the mini expansion for an extra $10. And coming soon is a solo campaign for $12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what you get in the box, first of all, you get these fourfold boards, player boards, dry erase boards. I've not seen any that are fourfold before like this, so this is pretty nice. You get a deck of standard 52 playing cards, and then to complement those, you also have variable player power cards that have the same kind of backing on them that come in a separate deck.
And then the bounty cards.
And then there's some bounty cards, and then there's some they call them cowbot cards.
Yeah, for solo.
Basically, if you're playing solo, you can play against, and the
evil cowbots.
Yes. If you're playing normally, you can just play for high score, but you can optionally play against the cowbots and have them interfere with your plans and schemes.
And there's some interesting variants in here as well.
Yeah. As far as what you get, I mean, it's a pure standard roll and write, although there's no dice.
Dry erase markers, decent boards.
A draw and write, really. But yeah, it's decent. There's nothing bad about it. I'm sure these markers are not going to last really long.
Yeah, the standard crappy black dry erase markers you see in just about any roll and write nowadays. They last a couple weeks.
Yeah. So I think I'll give it a 6.5 just because I think these boards are pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd say 6.5 based off of the player boards themselves because they're really nice.
Yeah, and the cards are decent.
Yeah, they're all right.
All right, so moving on to themes. So this, captures the card playing elements of Western, but they also have, based on the cards you choose, you could be moseying on down the trail.
That's right.
Or you might go to the Badlands and basically commit different types of robberies.
Yeah, thievery and stealing some stuff.
You can go into the mine and try to strike gold, but you also, if you get down to the lowest levels of the mine, you are basically stealing other people's claims.
Right, because and some in-game scoring.
Yeah. And then you can go to town, do various actions
based on which store you visit.
Yep, you get different. You can stock up on equipment that'll help you in some of your other areas, and then you can also go rob the graves.
Because why not?
Yeah, because there's things there. So, and all these different various actions, the ones that sound more criminal, are generally going to lead to you getting wanted posters.
That's right,
and you will pay the piper when you come back to face them. So. I think it does. I mean,
or the sheriff in this case.
Yeah, for being just a roll and write, this captures most of the elements of your typical Western.
It kind of does.
Yeah, train robberies.
Surprised. Yeah. You can steal chickens.
Yeah, you got card. You don't even think about the grave robbing thing.
No,
and typically in Westerns, but I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
So yeah, I mean,
and you even got a poker, which we'll talk about in the gameplay. But there's even a hand of poker element to it.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a central part.
No, a big part of it.
So I think they've done a pretty good job, given how light of a game it is, to integrate a lot of Western tropes into the game. Thematically, I'm probably going to give it a 7. I mean, I don't think there's anything outstanding about it. It doesn't, it's definitely not, it not got like a lot of different physical things that remind you of a Western, but, the gameplay elements, I think, integrate well.
I think so, too. I think 7's a solid score.
All right, moving on to the rulebook. So the rulebook has got a full-page cover, a full-page back. It is 28 pages in length, so it's a pretty lengthy rulebook, but it's a quick read because there's a lot of iconography. It's got a lot of examples in it, a lot of pictures of the different pieces of the board as they're doing demonstrations. And a lot of this is actually not gameplay. It's telling you like what each building in the town does in detail
so
instead of the shorthand. Yeah. There's really no questions you will have after reading this rulebook. It's got everything in here.
We didn't need a cheat sheet or anything.
No, it doesn't come with any, so it's a good thing we didn't need one. But it's not that level of I'd say this is probably a medium level roll and write. Roll and writes tend to be lighter.
Yeah.
So
this is definitely a medium level roll and write.
Yeah. And then, then there's the solo play at the back and the variants that you can play. And then at the end, if you really want to know, they give you, based on what you accomplished during the game, what your adjective and noun would be to describe you. Yeah.
That's right.
So you were a pioneer and deputy.
That's right.
And I was a pioneer and buckaroo. So our scores were like, 1 point apart?
Yep.
Yeah. I won. Because good always defeats evil, even though I was the more evil at the end.
He's definitely the more evil. He had way more wanted posters than I did.
At the end, but most of the game, you were the one.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter until it's the end.
Yeah.
I redeemed myself.
All right. So, I think the rulebook does a fine job. It's probably, I'll give it an 8. I think it's a quick read. Didn't take us long to learn the game, and we were into playing it.
Right.
We kept the book there handy for reference for the town, because there was a couple the iconography wasn't quite straightforward. Yeah,
but again, even those were real quick lookups, so wasn't much at all.
All right, so moving on to gameplay. So if you're playing multiplayer, it plays a little bit different than solo, but it's still the same concept. So basically, first thing you're going to do is, after you've shuffled your deck, you're going to take the top card and you're going to put it to the side, and that is the sheriff's card. So at the end of the round, the sheriff is going to attempt to arrest any ne'er-do-wells who have accumulated wanted posters during the round. After that, one player, whoever's going to be the dealer, is going to flip up 3 cards, and one of these cards you will have to choose to be the suit for your placement. One will
each
be
section
the value
had a suit that's
associated with it, right? One will be the value, and whichever card's left over, you take as your poker card for the round. So, in this case, there's a 2 of clubs, a 5 of hearts, and a 6 of diamonds. So I might want to go to town, which is clubs, and then I get to choose whether I want to go to the 5-level building, which is the general store where I can get equipment early in the game. That's a really good thing to do. Or I could go to the level 6, which is the church. Probably not going to want to do your first thing.
Right, because that allows you to get rid of your wanted posters if you're willing to pay for it.
Right, but at the beginning of the game, unless you're playing with some of the variants, you're probably not going to have wanted posters.
Right.
So, I'm probably going to say I'm going to pick the clubs as my suit, the 5 as my value, and then the 6 of diamonds would become my poker card for the first round. And Rob he has the same choices, but he could pick something totally different.
So I like the mining. So I would have picked probably the mine, which is the 6 of diamonds. And then I would pick, do I need to do the 5 or 2? So each mine section has a range of cards.
Yeah.
So then you pick which one of those is in the range that you want to select. And then you're kind of limited unless you want to start over. Then it starts going down. So then that's the path you got to follow.
Yeah.
Now you could start over on the other side, but generally you want to try and work your way down to those in-game scoring, and you're not going to have the time to be able to do everything.
Right, and that's the reason I won, was the in-game scoring. Right. I would have lost to you otherwise. So, getting down to the bottom of the mine, it's trickier than you think, too, because once you get down a level, you have fewer choices that you can choose from.
And not only that, you're really waiting on that diamond. So unless you use gold, which allows you to mitigate that and change the suits around, which I never really had a whole lot of gold. So I wasn't able to do that a whole lot. He had way more than I did.
Yeah, because it helped because I got hands during the early part of the game.
And I did too, but I just seemed to spend them a lot more than you did.
Yeah.
So, and then I just didn't accumulate that much. But yeah, I really like the mining action a lot.
So diamonds is the mining. Now the hearts is where you go down the trail, and this basically, as you go down the trail, you'll get better things, but it's kind of a one-way trail. So if you skip, you can skip numbers, but if you do, you can never go back and fill them in.
Right, and you get really good stuff, but you can also get some pretty nasty stuff too.
Right, but you have to get a value that's higher than what you've already got, and that gets trickier the further down you go. And then the Badlands,
that's the fun one.
This one's a lot of fun because first of all, you choose a spade to go there, and then you choose based on the card value, which one of the robberies you're going to attempt. And when you basically have to do make your selection of what you're going to target, flip the top card of your deck, and if it is higher than the value
of the card
that you were targeting, then you're successful. So as you try to do a train robbery, you can get up to a king.
Yeah,
it gets very difficult. You can go to the town and get guns that will help you with reducing the workload.
Which really helps.
Yeah, but you still are going with that blind draw. You can still get hosed, and if you do get hosed, you still get the full wanted posters because you attempted the robbery.
Yeah.
But you get like half the
stars and none of the money.
None of the money.
And so I failed my first robbery, but thankfully it wasn't that big of a kill. I mean, I was trying to rob a cow and I failed robbing a cow. So I didn't get my coins and I only got half the stars, which wasn't as big of a deal. If it was a train though, that would hurt.
Yeah. Well, it would hurt too if it actually was a bull you were trying to rob instead of the cow.
Or if you get hit by the train.
Yep, that would be bad too. Yeah. So the other thing is there's a comboing. So like if you complete a complete row in the Badlands, you get to take an action in one of the other regions, and you get to choose the value that you want it to be set for.
So bonus actions are really powerful.
Yeah, and the same for the first time you visit any of the buildings in the town, you get to take a bonus action. Now, some of them are just getting stars, but some of them will send you to one of the other locations. The mine has them on the second tier.
And the cemetery does too.
Yeah, all of them have different ones that will send you to other actions, so you can get some nice chaining and comboing. Yeah. Because if you get a bonus at that place, then you can go to another place and do it.
Get a bonus. Yep.
So yeah, I like I always love roll rights for the comboing, and this definitely still has that. But then after you've played 5 rounds of selecting the 1 cards for each, you've now got a 5-card poker hand.
Right.
And at that point, there's a scoring system here based upon the standard poker rules. But nothing for high card, unfortunately. That cost me the first round of the game. I got nothing. But I got a straight the second round, which was sweet. And I would have got a straight the third round, but I chickened out.
Wrong card.
No, I chickened out because I was I was going for the straight, and I'm like, well, now I got to choose the one between, or else. And then, sure enough, I would have got it to come up, but I took the safe route away and took a pair. But yeah, you can get various perks for making your selections.
And generally, it's progressively more coins and stars.
Yeah. Getting a royal flush, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, but that'd been so cool.
And then the cemetery, if you go there, you can choose to basically opt out of any value. Like if you don't like the card combinations of your values, you can say, I'm just going to go to the cemetery. And at that point, you choose any grave, circle it, and you get the perk of whatever it's closed off between the two circles.
So there's an icon in between each gravestone, and you would get that icon.
Right, but you also get a warrant for each time you do that.
Yes, you do. So you're robbing graves. I mean, of course.
Yeah. So, and then after you evaluate the poker hand, then you do an income phase based upon how many pans of gold and how many pickaxes you've accumulated. you'll earn money and gold.
Yep.
As an
to use for the next round.
Yeah. Then now is when you have to face the sheriff. So you have the option of bribing the sheriff. So the sheriff in this town is
before you
corrupt.
get to look at the card.
Yeah. You can say, okay, I'm not going to chance it, and you count how many wanted posters you have, and you have to pay that much in gold. Which is probably one of the reasons why I was always so short, because that first round I built up 4 wanted posters, and I spent 4 gold to mitigate that. And you wouldn't have had to.
Yeah.
And then the next round you did have to, but you bribed them.
Yes.
So you got out of it.
Yeah, I got out of it.
So... Yeah, when we you evaluate how many wanted posters you have, you choose to pay the gold or not. Then you flip the card and you gamble that card is.
So he's got how many?
I've got 8.
So this has to be 8 or 7 or lower to lose.
Yeah.
And it's a 10.
So I'm good.
So he's fine. I had 3. I was fine.
Yeah.
And so, again, the only thing is that if you lose that, then you have to pay a bunch more coin or gold in order to, or you lose stars, which is your victory points.
Yeah, or the stars, which are your pure victory points. So, yeah, it's, it can be a very penalizing.
It really can.
Yeah, and it goes up each round.
Yeah, and thankfully that didn't happen to me. Yeah. I was always able to get away with it.
In round 3, it was rough. 8 stars.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a huge chunk of points.
Yeah, and you can't offset it. So it's either you pay 18 coins or 8 stars.
Right.
You don't get to say, well,
I'll do half and half.
Yeah, no, you can't. It's got to be all or nothing. And you don't get to get rid of the wanted posters.
No, that part really stuck.
So they stay with you for the next round. Now, there are things in town you can do. You can go to church and you can pay off your wanted posters.
And that's how I was able to do it. But I was kind of initially thinking I would be able to get rid of them after round 1. But Randy was like, nope.
Yeah.
You're still wanted.
Yeah. Or you can go to the hideout and get rid of 4 of them as well.
Hideout.
So there's various ways to get rid of them. I think there's a spot on the trail as well that you can use to get rid of some of your posters. But yeah, in general, you're stuck with those posters for the rest of the game. Now there are spaces also. There's tools you can get that will, like a bandana that will let you disguise yourself. So when you do commit things, in
you can reduce it by 1.
You can reduce the penalty by 1.
Is that Robert? No, it's Randy.
Yeah. I couldn't see his beard, so it may not be Robert. So, yeah, I really like all the thought they put into this game.
I did too. It's interesting. If I was to critique one thing, some of the stuff is pretty hard to read because it's tiny.
Yeah.
And so, I'd have to either, adjust my glasses or bring it up close so I could see it a little bit better. And with the markers that they have, it's not a really fine point.
Yeah.
Which would have been nice if it was a finer point marker. But,
it's that minor. And with the dry erase, which I like dry erase, but then I also don't like it because, especially when you're dealing with a page like this and you're writing over here, you'll end up rubbing some of it off of the other areas.
Yeah, that's true too.
So, you've got to be concerned with making sure your board is not getting messed up.
That you keep your elbows off the table.
Your elbows or your hands. You write like this.
Do your T-Rex writing.
I don't think they were around during those times.
I mean, there was T-Rex and spaceships.
There were cowboys with aliens, but
that's
I
true
don't think
too.
there were dinosaurs. Well, I guess Jonah Hex. Doesn't he write a dinosaur? So, okay, so as far as for gameplay, I really enjoyed this more than I expected to.
Me too.
And I also like the variable ways you can play it.
Yeah.
So the variants that they give you in the box, they give you a mini expansion, which adds on some additional outskirts cards, in addition to more bots and more characters you can be. But there's also everybody can have a special player character, which gives you different starting resources and different one-time ability during the game that you can trigger. I like that.
Yep.
Also, if you don't like the hard, rigid 5 cards, and that's your poker hand, and you wanted to play 7 card, basically, in essence, treating it like you're playing Texas Hold'em. You can draw 2 cards like you do your sheriff and set them off to the side. And then whenever at the end of the round, you can flip those 2 cards and everybody can make the best 5 card hand out of it. I like that.
I like that
next
a lot.
time we play, we'll do that.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
So, and also one thing we didn't mention is when you're playing multiplayer anyway, there's 3 additional bounty cards that these are kind of like goals during the game. Whoever's the first to get them gets 7 bonus points. Whoever get after that, anybody can get them, but they're worth 4. So there's lots of different things in this game that are variants to add on to the game. This part is standard. And then, of course, there's the Cowbots if you're playing solo. Right. So, I think there's a lot of flexibility. I think this game is going to get a lot of play.
And just $25.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's one that, I know my family or Miranda's family.
Oh, yeah, your in-laws. Yeah, your in-laws will
roll the rights.
Yeah.
And this one's a little more heavy than, like, say, Welcome to or whatever.
Yeah, but not that bad.
No.
And I could totally see Kevin and Myra liking this game a lot.
Yeah, and if they like poker. I mean, like Seth, I could see.
For sure.
Yeah, because he's a poker player.
Yeah.
So I think, there's certain people who get into this one more. Mm-hmm. So I love rolling rights, and this one is definitely one that...
So the question is, when all the family's here for Thanksgiving, will you still own this game, or is it going to go home with somebody else?
This one I can't pick up at the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will not be letting this one go.
Okay.
I'm probably going to give this one an 8.
I think 8's a solid score. I think it was fun. I'm really looking forward to playing the variants, especially either the 5-card, the Texas Hold'em variant, or even the harder variant, which they added, where only whoever has the best hand is the only one that gets the reward. I like that too.
Yeah. So that makes it a little more competitive. Yeah. So you've got to make sure you try to build the best hand.
So I like that a lot. So yeah, 8's a good score for this game. It's a lot of fun. I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah. All right, well, that's our thoughts on Fliptown. If you kickstarted it and you've been getting a chance to play it, tell us what you think.
Yeah.
If you haven't, keep an eye out.
If you were able to get a royal flush, let us know.
Oh, we'd love to know that. Yeah. Even if you have some great poker stories that you've got that you would love to share with us. I can tell you from a bridge story.
Which is nothing like poker.
No. I got dealt one hand, the Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10... XX in clubs, and then I had Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10, and I had basically 7, 6, all black hand, no red cards in my hand at all. And if you know how bridge bidding works, I opened at 7 clubs, which is unheard of. I mean, that's the highest tier that you can bid is 7, and I opened that on my first bid. My opponents doubled. I redoubled. My partner laid down 5 more clubs. They led the Ace of Hearts. I laid my hand down. I claimed all the cards. I should have framed that hand because it's never going to happen again.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so yeah, I definitely as a bridge/poker player, this game really was appealing to me, and I definitely recommend it highly. And it takes everything is you can play this with pretty much a standard deck,
and it's fast.
Yeah.
So 30 minutes I think that's accurate, especially since we knew what we were doing after the first round. So
yeah. All right. Well, until next time, y'all come back now. You hear?
Bye.
Bye.